The British coal mining industry in the first half of the 20th century was a very peculiar institution. It was an essential contributor to many of the country's major industries, yet the labor force which supported this mighty industry was confined to highly isolated communities. The men who worked in the British coalfields held great power over the fate of the economy, yet in their day-to-day lives they often felt trapped, not just by the pits themselves, but also by the oppressive conditions imposed by the mine owners. Fierce disputes between miners and mine owners had been escalating since 1921, and Parliament intervened in July of 1925, reinstituting the wartime subsidy for 9 months, during which time it was expected that an agreement would be reached.
The mine owners wanted to increase the working day and wanted to cut the pay. So the mine workers' slogan was, "Not an hour on the day, not a penny of the pay."
When the subsidy disappeared on May 1st, hundreds of thousands of miners went on strike. 2 days later, over 1 million other workers joined them, turning the coal stoppage into a full-blown general strike. The others withdrew after only 9 days, acquiescing to seemingly impossible odds. But the miners remained on strike for 7 months, through the summer and into the fall of 1926. During this period of hardship, the local mining communities helped to support unemployed miners when the scant resources of the unions were unable to do so. The strike had lasted far longer than anyone had foreseen from the start. Holding fast to their slogan, the Miners' Federation had rejected numerous compromises, and rallies and demonstrations filled the streets. But behind this passionate front, many miners had nevertheless begun returning to work. These numbers grew as autumn arrived, and by November, the strike was all but over. It seemed the small-town mining men who had so stubbornly resisted the might of the industry which had swallowed their livelihoods ultimately were not willing to put loyalty to the union before loyalty to their own families, who had been greatly suffering during their unemployment. But because they had held out for so long, they were forced in the end to give in to worse terms than had been offered at the start. Yet despite its tragic failure, the strike helped garner long-term sympathy for the miners' cause, and is still remembered by the mining communities as an empowering example of their latent agency.
Union miners stand together and do not heed the owner's tale.